Now that you have a good grasp of the Kaplan strategy of projections, let's see how that strategy can be applied to keyhole questions. We'll do the first few questions together, then I'll give you an opportunity to try out the remaining questions on your own before we review. Let's start with number 1. This question, like all keyhole questions, has a 3D figure on the left and 5 different possible keyholes on the right. Just like always, we'll want to think about the back, bottom, and right projections. Let's start with what's given, this 3D figure. Visualize yourself crushing this figure from the front to the back. In this case, all of the depth disappears, and you're left with a 2D image that would look something like this. Now on test day, you wouldn't necessarily have to draw out this image, but by thinking about it, you'll be better able to make a match of the answer choices. In fact, you may want to use this first initial prediction and look to see if any of the answer choices match. If you have a match, you have the correct answer, and you can move on without having to visualize the bottom or right projections. If you don't have a match, then you know that that back projection wasn't the correct answer, so you can move on to the remaining projections. When reviewing together, we'll walk through each of the 3 projections before looking at the answer choices. But again, you'll have the option on test day to decide whether you want to start checking your first projection right away or to think about the figure first, whatever's going to be faster for you. Either way though, this back projection could be a good option, but let's look at the bottom and right as well. The bottom projection would be that top to bottom view. Looking at it, we have the base and the cube coming off to the side, as well as a bit of extra platform. The right projection, just like the left projection, would show the base, as well as a large cube and a small cube coming up, which appear here as squares. Now that we know what 3 projections are good options, we can start looking at the answer choices. Take a second now to see if you can find a match of the 3 projections that we already predicted. Hopefully, you were able to see that B is the back projection. Now, it wasn't our exact prediction, and in fact, this is actually what you'd call the front projection, but remember, for the keyhole questions, it doesn't matter. The back and the front are the same, both could be rotated in any way, and in fact, B is just that. So B is the correct answer. The other answer choices, at least some of them, are reasonably close, especially something like C, but remember the proportions have to be exact. And although something like C does look similar, similar isn't good enough on test day. We have to find the opening that precisely matches both in size and scale. Let's go ahead and move on to question number 2. This question looks similar to 3 cubes that have been joined together. Again, we can predict the 3 projections first before using those to make a match. The given shape, again, are those 3 cubes. The back projection, just like the front, would be these 3 cubes smashed into squares that are all overlapping. The bottom projection would be the top view, which actually compresses those top 2 cubes into one long rectangle, but still has the front cube poking out. Finally, the right projection would actually, again, be something very similar, where you have the 2 cubes lining up to form a rectangle, but one additional cube coming out. With this prediction, again, take just a moment and see if you can find the correct answer choice among the options. Here, answer choice B is again correct. B is the right projection, but flipped horizontally, so it could also be called the left projection, but again, matches the general shape we were looking for. So B is the correct answer. Remember, on test day, once you've found the exact match, there's no need to disprove why all the other answer choices is wrong. As long as you have a match, you know you found the correct answer and can move right along. The next question then is number 3. Take just a few seconds to predict what the 3 projections will look like on your own. Great. Hopefully you were able to see that the back projection would look like the base with the rectangle coming up off of it. The The bottom projection would be this backward C-type shape. And the right projection would be the base with, again, a rectangle coming off of it, but this rectangle is quite a bit bigger than the other projection. With those three predictions then, you'll then find that the answer is A. This is that right projection rotated clockwise 90 degrees. Now this one doesn't correspond precisely with one of the faces in the way that the figure is presented, but remember, you can rotate them any way that you need to as long as you do it before you start actually moving through the keyhole. Let's do one more question, question number 4. Again, take just a few seconds, this time to identify what the three projections will be and to find the correct answer choice among the options. All right, hopefully you were able to see it one more time that the back, bottom, and right projections are representative of the figure and what shadows it would create or what you get if you were to crush the figure. Looking at the answer choices, answer choice D matches these predictions because it's the bottom projection simply rotated 90 degrees. This is the same thing, remember, that you can see if you're looking at the top or shining a light from the top and identifying the shadow that would come behind. So great work on these first few questions. Coming up next are more questions to ensure you have enough practice to successfully answer these on test day.